How many non-conference losses will Kentucky have? I'm only going with one, and it's against St. John's in the CBS Sports Classic in Atlanta. And as much as I would love for Mark Pope to get the win against Rick Pitino, I think he's going to psych himself out a little bit with this game. It's going to be a little bit like, pupil versus the teacher, and I don't know if Pope is ready to get over that hurdle yet. So I'm going to give Rick the win there, but it's all right. It'll have a huge showing in Catlanta.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that Kentucky will take 0 non-conference losses. We're coming for you, Rick Pitino, Michigan State, North Carolina, and of course, the Yum Center. Undefeated streak in the non-con.
Going with 2 non-conference losses, I think the timing is going to be a little bit tricky for that game down in Nashville against Gonzaga. That is number 1. And then I think, unfortunately, the emotions get the best of Mark Pope in that head-to-head battle against Rick Pitino, St. John's Red Storm down in Atlanta. I think it's just going to be a little bit too much, and the master gets the student in that one, unfortunately.
I'm going with 1 non-conference loss. I probably should pick one, right? That's probably a good idea. Let's go with Michigan State. I want a random one. I think they're going to beat Louisville for sure.
Kentucky will lose 1 non-conference game, and unfortunately it's going to come to an old coach, Rick Pitino. Kentucky will drop 1 non-conference game. It'll be to St. John's.
In non-conference play, I think Kentucky only loses 1 game. You think about Louisville, North Carolina, Indiana. I think Kentucky's Michigan State. I think Kentucky sweeps all of those. But I do think Rick Pitino and St. John's do get the best of Kentucky down in Atlanta.
Kentucky's going 5-1 in the non-conference. The only loss is to Ricky Three Stacks in the CBS Sports Classic.
Cats play 6 big non-con games. They go 4-2. They lose 2 of the 4. 1 guarantee they beat Louisville, but they lose 2 of the 4. Neutral site games is really the ones I'm looking at. St. John's, Michigan State, and then what the other neutral site game I can't think of. But in the Gonzaga, they lose 2. I would say they go 1 and 2 in the neutral site games.
All right, I think Kentucky loses 2 games in the non-conference. 1 against Michigan State, because I've just never seen them win in Madison Square Garden. That's the only reason. And then losing to St. John's and Rick Pitino in Atlanta.
Kentucky's best SEC win of the season will be the last SEC game. Kentucky's going to beat Florida on Senior Day at Rupp Arena, which will not only be a great send-off for Otega Oweh and Denzel Aberdeen, it'll give Kentucky the SEC regular season title, which will be especially sweet for Aberdeen, who, of course, played for the Gators last year.
There'll be a lot of good SEC wins, but the biggest by far will be against Florida on senior night to break the tie and win the SEC regular season championship. Write it down.
Like last season, I believe the Kentucky Wildcats go down to Fayetteville and knock off John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks.
The biggest SEC regular season win is either going to be Alabama or Florida. I think they're beating them both, so it's up to you which one you think is a bigger win.
SEC win. I'll go 2 for 1 on this one. Sweeping Florida. On the road and in Rupp Arena, Kentucky Mark Pope actually will improve his record against Florida to 3-0 by the end of the season.
Kentucky's best SEC win this season is going to be against Florida, the defending national champions at home.
Biggest SEC win, another Tennessee sweep.
Biggest SEC win, it's always a good time when you go down to Knoxville and beat the Vols. I think Kentucky goes there and wins again for, what is that now, the 4th straight year?
Kentucky's going to lose 4 SEC regular season games this year, all on the road. I have them losing at Tennessee, at Florida, at Arkansas, and at Texas A&M. And as depressing as that at Arkansas prediction is, I have something that makes up for it soon.
Kentucky and Florida will be tied with 4 losses each going to that game. So I'm saying Kentucky loses 4 games in the conference play and still wins the ship.
I believe Kentucky takes 2 SEC losses to finish the regular season with 4 total losses, I believe. They go down to Knoxville and unfortunately lose that one. And then I also believe that the Denzel Aberdeen game down in Gainesville, the homecoming on Valentine's Day, does not go in Denzel's favor, and the Gators get that one.
I'm going to go with 3 SEC losses, and I don't know where they're going to come from, but I think one will be Missouri for some reason.
I'm going to say 14-4 for the SEC conference. I think they will lose probably 3 road games and then 1 random one they'll get tripped up here at Rupp, but I'll have 14-4 for my conference record.
Cats, 4 SEC losses. They're a 5-loss team, and that's still going to be good enough to get at least a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament.
I think Kentucky is only going to lose 3 games in conference play. I think they lose at Alabama to start SEC play, unfortunately. I think they lose to Tennessee at home. I think it's just pretty hard for me to see Kentucky going undefeated at home, so I pick Kentucky to lose against Tennessee at home. And then at Florida.
13-5 in the SEC. They are playing for an SEC league title last game of the season against Florida.
I have Kentucky losing 4 games in the SEC. Still good enough, though, to win the SEC outright.
All right, I'm going to shoot my shot. My hot take for this Kentucky basketball season is that Kentucky's going to go undefeated at home. I don't think that North Carolina nor Indiana present a huge threat. And all of Kentucky's, or most of Kentucky's, really hard SEC games this season happen on the road. So I think Kentucky's going to sweep at home. After seeing the atmosphere versus Purdue, that crowd is going to get behind them. It's going to be awesome. Lots of memories to be made at Rupp Arena this season.
Everyone knows sophomore Colin Chandler is going to be awesome. My second hottest take is Malachi Marino is going to play a lot more minutes than anyone expected. I'll say he plays just as many, if not more, than Brandon Garrison.
Croatian sensation 2.0, Andrija Jelic will be starting for the Kentucky Wildcats before the year's over. I am super high on Andrija, and I believe that he works his way into the starting lineup as one of the go-to shooters and standout players by the end of the season.
My hot take is that Denzel Aberdeen has a 35-point game at some point this season.
Hot take, I'll go back to what I said earlier. Louisville game, Kentucky is going to run them out of the gym. That will be a 20-point win in the UMP Center.
This is a spicy meatball. I know a lot of people like Jaden Quaintance. They're talking a lot about him. He's a little banged up, though. Jasper Johnson, that guy looked awesome. First exhibition. The guy we're going to be talking about, the freshman that people are going to say, wow, I didn't realize he was that good. I didn't know he had it in him. Malachi Moreno, he's a steady Eddie. He's going to lead the Cats in rebounding multiple games. I'm really looking forward to Malachi Moreno. I think he's going to be a steadying presence in the paint. When you don't really know what you're going to get from JQ and Brandon Garrison, well, it can be all over the place. Malachi Moreno is going to be the freshman everyone in BBN is talking about in March.
My hot take for this season is that I think Mark Pope wins National Coach of the Year in just his second season at Kentucky.
Hot take, there are 5 Kentucky players average double digits scoring. It's one of the best offenses in college basketball.
Hot take, despite 6 losses, Kentucky gets a 1 seed. The last 1 seed, but as I've mentioned before, you got to have one to win the national championship. Kentucky finally, for the first time in 10 years, gets a 1 seed.
This is going to be a really memorable SEC tournament, which Kentucky fans deserve after several years of Nashville heartache. I have Kentucky making it to the SEC Tournament Championship, where they're going to face Arkansas, who, as I predicted earlier in this video, will beat them in Fayetteville. But Kentucky is going to get revenge in Nashville and send John Calipari and the Razorbacks home with a loss to take home the SEC Tournament title again, sending Nashville into a big blue party.
SEC tournament finish, this is the year. Hope, we knocked down a little bit of a door. We had fun beating Oklahoma with the buzzer beater last year, but this is the year they finish the job. If nothing else, we'll get to the weekend. Just take another step forward. But I say they win it on Sunday.
I believe, unlike last season, I think the injuries got to them. They had the SEC tournament magic last year, just didn't have the help to overcome that. I believe this year they will be healthy enough and they will go down to Nashville and press that button as Mark Pope has done so well, and they get the confetti to fall down at Bridgestone Arena.
I think they are gonna win the SEC tournament.
SEC tournament finish, we're going to the championship game. I haven't been to a Sunday in Nashville since I've started doing this. That changes this year.
In the SEC tournament, I do have Kentucky making it all the way to Sunday before falling to Florida in that championship game. It's just going to be so hard to ask Kentucky to win that many games in a row.
Cats are going to finish on Sunday at the SEC tournament. We're going to feel good, even if it doesn't end in a win. It's going to be a loss.
They earn a bye in the SEC tournament. We finally start a tournament on Friday. Win Friday, win Saturday, lose the SEC tournament on Sunday, and there's a chance that can possibly lose them a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
For the SEC tournament, Kentucky goes all the way to the championship game. They make it to Sunday. They don't win it, but the people making the bracket already have them penciled in as a 1 seed, so it doesn't really hurt that much.
The NCAA Tournament, I have Kentucky going all the way to the Final Four, which means they are going to reverse the curse in Indianapolis, a city that has been so unkind to Kentucky recently. My fun fact, my numerology for the day, if Kentucky makes it to Indy, it will be the 9-year anniversary of their last win in Indy, which was a second-round win over Wichita State in 2017. I think Kentucky will get to the Final Four. What happens from there, I'm not quite sure, but the numbers are aligning for at least a national championship appearance.
My NCAA tournament prediction, I hate to do this, be that guy that's too excited, but I just watched us destroy Purdue like 24 hours ago. Cats are winning the title. Write it down. Number 9. We'll see it in April.
NCAA Tournament. Kentucky's going to the Final Four. It's time. It's happening. First time since 2015. Kentucky goes to the Final Four. And you see that right there? You see that? Championship banners. Add another one. Time to make some room. Kentucky hangs banner number 9 right here at Rupp Arena.
I think they're going to make the Elite Eight, and people are not going to be happy about how they lose in the Elite Eight.
Go Final Four. Go banner.
But you guys are going to think, man, they should have made it to the Final Four. But it's an Elite Eight loss. You guys are going to be kicking yourselves. I don't even know how they lost that game. That was terrible. I'm already mad. I'm already really mad about this game.
NCAA Tournament, I'm going to come up just short of Indy. I'm calling for the Elite Eight. Kentucky will get back to the Elite Eight for the first time in a long time. It will be a great, successful season, but they're going to lose in overtime to whoever they play in the Elite Eight, crush all of our hearts. I'm sorry to say it. I'll change my mind in about 20 minutes, but right now that's what I'm thinking.
It's going to be a really special year for Kentucky, making it all the way to the Final Four. You know, I think it's consists of Kentucky, Houston, Michigan, Florida. I think Kentucky falls to Houston in that semifinal game before Houston, of course, beats Florida. My pick is in the national title game. You know, rematch there. I think Kentucky gets to the Final Four. You're knocking on the door of making a national championship, but I just don't think they do it this year.
The Cats are hanging a banner. They're going to the Final Four this season.
Kentucky's a 2 seed on Selection Sunday. They make quick work in the first weekend, win a close game in the Sweet 16, but fall in the Elite Eight, 1 game short of the Final Four.
In the NCAA Tournament, the Cats go on a run. We will remember this team forever because they're the first Final Four team since 2015. Can you believe that? 10 years. They do fall in the Final Four game because why would I pick them to win a game in Indianapolis? So Kentucky loses in the Final Four, hangs a banner though in 2026.